ahead of Southampton's Super Sunday clash with Newcastle. We revisit Matt Le Tissier's remarkable double against the Magpies in October 1993 ahead of Southampton's Super Sunday clash with Newcastle. We revisit Matt Le Tissier's remarkable double against the Magpies in October 1993. Southampton have been struggling for goals this season, but a meeting with Newcastle should bring plenty of inspiration. Saints legend Matt Le Tissier has a catalogue of memorable strikes, but two of his most famous came in the space of 27 minutes at the Dell in 1993. Newcastle, who travelled to Southampton, live on Sky Sports Premier League on NewsZone Super Sunday, were the opponents that October day. Southampton vs Newcastle live on 24 Years On. We take a look back at Le Tissier's memorable double against the Magpies. Southampton's genius couldn't even get into the team. The Saints had lost 8 of their opening 11 league matches to start the 1993-94 season, and manager Ian Branfoot had done the unthinkable, dropping the club's star man for Paul Moody. Ian threw Matty back to me and said, "I'm not happy. He's not working hard enough." Then reserve team manager Dave Merrington told The Telegraph in 2014, "People would say Matt didn't work hard enough, but they would overlook one thing. He was a genius." Quote, "The South Coast club was used to relegation battles, but the start of this campaign was particularly bleak. They were held scoreless in 5 of their first 9 games and had a nasty habit of throwing away leads. The decision to drop Le Tissier was supposed to spark the team into life, but 2 late goals by Justine Flo earned Sheffield United an unlikely 3-3 draw in early October, before Phil Babb's 87th minute equaliser denied Southampton a precious win at Coventry a week later. Le Tissier played for Southampton from 1986 to 2002. Le Tissier's absence had failed to improve results, so Branfoot swallowed his pride and recalled the forward for the visit of Kevin Keegan's Newcastle. Southampton, now second bottom, were sinking fast, and the Sky Sports cameras were coming to town to document the misery. With an hour gone and the score goalless, Branfoot called for Moody to warm up. The journeyman forward, who later became a hero at Oxford United and Millwall, had failed to fire when given the chance to replace Le Tissier in games prior. He looked set to get another opportunity. "I'd been dropped for Moody for the 5 games before, and I was brought back in for Newcastle," Le Tissier recalls. "I remember seeing Paul warming up after 60 minutes and just thinking it would be for me." Quote, "Le Tissier is one of Southampton's greatest ever players. What came next was one of the great Premier League goals. A stunning individual run, a cheeky chip and a composed finish. 3 years later, Paul Gascoigne would pull off a similar trick against Scotland. A strike voted the best ever at the old Wembley. When I scored the goal, the camera panned to Branfoot, and I lip-read him saying, 'Sick down moods.' It was probably the second best goal in my career behind the Blackburn one." Le Tissier added, "It was a bit surreal because you don't have time to think. You just react to defenders, and the ball just kept landing in the right place for me to nudge it away from them. The finish wasn't exactly what I wanted as it came off the bottom of my boot a bit, but it was enough to wrong-foot their goalkeeper." Quote, "Southampton predictably conceded 10 minutes later when Andy Cole equalised, but that simply set the stage for Le Tissier's decisive intervention. There was less than 3 minutes left when he collected the ball from Neil Maddison, brought it under control on his thigh, and blasted home past goalkeeper Mike Hooper from 25 yards. Le Tissier spent the majority of his career at Southampton. Looking back, that was a huge turning point in my career because under Branfoot my career wasn't really going anywhere," Le Tissier said. "I'm not sure he said anything to me after the game, but I certainly didn't need to say anything after that." Quote, "The beleaguered Saints boss restored Le Tissier to prominence after the Newcastle game, even giving him the captain's armband. I went on to score a couple against Aston Villa and then a couple more against Liverpool and, strangely enough, given that had all happened at the end of October, by the middle of December I was made captain at Goodison Park. All in the space of 6 weeks, said Tissier. But it was not enough to save Brandfoot, who was dismissed in early January and replaced by fan favourite Alan Ball. Results immediately improved as the Saints rattled off 4 wins from 5 games, including a 2-1 away victory at St James's Park, and they eventually survived by a single point. Tissier would finish as the club's top scorer with 25 Premier League goals, the highest league tally of his distinguished career. He was in an otherwise forgettable campaign for the Saints. Their genius. Watch Southampton v Newcastle live on Sky Sports Premier League with Nissan Super Sunday coverage, starting from 3:30 p.m.